But I think that means it's time to find out who is going to be facing off against this man in the finals with our second semifinal game with Beanie versus Legorve Genine.
And before we move on real quick, I also do want to say that I am happy for Rav that Rav got to take back a couple of games near the end there, because Rav has had a great tournament, and right now just came up into one of the favorites of the tournament overall, and had a good showing that if the scoreline had been like 7-1, it would have not shown the kind of tournament that Rav had. It would have been a sour end to a great tournament. So I am glad that we were able to pull a couple games out there with and actually really narrowly missed out on that library game, which kind of, bittersweet that if that library game had been a decisive game, that would have hurt way more. So luckily, kind of in the context that it was a pretty solid victory for OP Rights. If that had been in a close match, that is the kind of stuff that keeps you up at night. If you were like seconds away from shooting, they're just behind the pillar, you're just trying to check. That would have been awful.
But yeah, Rav truly did play a fantastic tournament. OP Rights is just hecking terrifying. Like, this man is the new Crazy Kaylee.
Right, new Crazy Kaylee in that organizes tournaments and then wins them.
Yeah, who knows exactly. That's happening. Oh my god. Either way, who's it going to be in the finals? Is it going to be OP Legorve or OP Beanie? Now is the time to find out. Same format as last time. It's first to 7, and if we wind up tied 6-6, it's just the return of Eternal Balcony. And because we didn't get to do this the first time because we suddenly had a game to watch, these are the venues. There's no draft in this tournament. It's just you get the venues and then you play them, starting as usual with Gallery. It's Beanie on the spy side, Legorve Genine on the sniper. Let's get this thing started in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And Beanie has just been this really interesting player in my mind for a while, because Beanie has a lot of when players in my mind, like, there's still like the players like new players, but Beanie's actually been around long enough that I can't even call them a new player anymore. But there's that crop of players that came in these like big bursts. And then there are some players that kind of stood out as like, okay, this player's super solid. And then what happens to that super solid player? Do they use that solid foundation and make it like a super idiosyncratic style? That's the thing they become known for. Do they just become one of these really all-around, really like naturally great players? And so I've been curious to see where Beanie's going to go, because Beanie's been solid for a long time. And so this has been a great opportunity to see where is Beanie going to go next, because they've kind of been right below that top echelon for so long and threatening to get in, and now they're finally arriving.
It's 51% on the flirt in this back conversation and hanging around looking to get it done in 2 off the timer flirt.
Yeah, a lot of paths near teal. That last one really seemed like the bug would have basically been invisible, so Beanie might pick up sort of ambient credit for it.
I wanted that bug so bad. There's the flirtation cooldown. Yeah, we spent a lot of time in this conversation, it feels like, but the 2 flirt does come off on the second close screen. That's 1 mission in the books.
Yeah, the funny thing is with Gallery, there's like more intentionality in conversation placement than like any other conversation circle. I don't know if there's a conversation circle I think about the positions as much, because, okay, if you're in the spot where teal's in, it's bugs across from blue, from the either bookcase going to the left. If it's on the other side,
Ambassador just keeps going back and forth. He wants to get bugged so bad.
He does. Unfortunately, he's not close enough to give who's that? That's Plain Twin any credit. So if you're on the other side, you're really looking for bugs from green crossing over, and sort of blue. Blue's a little bit harder because the green side is a lot thinner, and then on the back side is more like, okay, more obvious. Maybe dips out from conversation circle to like statues or purloins. But I might be thinking about these conversations too much. But that's also the only place we've been yet this game.
Beanie has, this is the first time Beanie has moved from this conversation. And we're over halfway through the game.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like, basically Legorve has only taken 3 highlights, so it's not like we can rule Beanie out as a suspect. But it doesn't look like we would have been much of a suspect if we had gotten that bug. But also, the good news is we're not much of a suspect from here. So if something like a green swap happens, or it looks like we're going for a difficult fingerprint here. So we didn't pick up much suspicion, which is a good and bad thing.
Out to the front and then back in again to the statues. Does he hit the print? Does hit the print. That could be huge with time ticking down so quickly. So that's 2 inspects and a print at these front set of statues. 50 seconds left to play. We're already past the minute mark, so Beanie is going to have to work real fast at the end of this.
And the question is if we don't take, or there's not a take there, so there's gonna be an offer to us, but unfortunately it's a low light. So this purloin is not gonna be that viable, unfortunately. Oh, the fade's super visible.
Oh dear, it's white. Yep, that was a very clear fade. Legorve Genine is going to jump on it and picks up game number 1.
Yeah, what's also unfortunate about that is, okay, so maybe this is a little bit more circle positioning thing. That purloin position is one of the easiest purloins and most reliable purloins to see in the game. I'm just going to highly recommend not doing purloins from the, let's say, if you're facing the back, the 2 or 3 o'clock position, because Toby's tray will always be in this juicy spot for snipers. Go purloin somewhere else. Go purloin in the 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock position, because there's just like it's just like obnoxious almost, like how visible that purloin is. And weirdly enough, I say that even though we missed a red purloin in the game before, but that was a rotation issue. But yeah, a little bit unfortunate there. Also unfortunate that the person before us was a low light that had rejected. But I think that even if they hadn't been low lit, that was just such a visible purloin that Legorve was going to be all over it.
And Legorve now steps into the spy side of things to try to go out to an early lead against Beanie's sniper in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
So my main association with Legorve, so we are also Papa Danger on this one, is Legorve often whips out super aggro games, kind of like the one we had saw on Gallery, Opie's first Gallery game last game, where Legorve really likes just pushing as fast as they can and getting super quick finish. Oh my God, what is this? What is this? This is some garbage, hot garbage that we got that seduction target done like that.
That was absurd and incredible, and I loved it. But yes, that was in fact completely bonkers. That you should not be able to do that, but Seduce is done, which can be a bit of a relief on this venue. We're out in the front in conversation with the double agent. Okay, apparently we have delegated and ran. That's not a thing on this venue, but that's what it looked like.
It did look like that. So we are going to go pick up this fingerprint pretty quick. And we're going to go pretty soon after Ambassador left. The thing here is it's a more or less obvious. There's so much. What is all this laser movement? Like there's not only laser, this camera movement on both sides, where like there's been so much development in the nice screen test. In the what spot? Oh, but it gets highlight for it. What is going on with Beanie's thing? Is this a bug, or is he just doing these is he doing excited shakes? I actually don't know.
No, this is excited shakes. This is Beanie trying to communicate to the casters.
It's more risky as sniper though, because if you do the shake things, the spy gets to see them. But because that's why we often see like flashing on someone, because the spy has no idea if they're being flashed on, except for the fact that the laser's over them. But it could just be a highlight, could just be whatever. So there's a lot of odd stuff going on.
So we actually did some animation transfer business. We've got green microfilm in pocket while all that was going on. We do have that print as previously noted. We do have the flirt done. Minute and 40 seconds on the clock, and we're going to take this contact out in front as well.
I've also seen a lot more shakes out. I think that there's some sort of like very slight like lag or latency bug going on with Beanie's laser, because there's been some shakes in just weird spots.
4 low lights off of the contact is pretty par for the course. Not something that you'd turn your nose up on this venue at all. But into the blue bookcase we go, looking for a chance to get this microfilm back where it not where it belongs, but where it is intended to go if you're a spy.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll be able to do this at the Yeah, okay. We are going to walk away from this bookcase because it didn't even look like we were in a spot that we thought we could. What you can do sometimes there is you go into that spot, and that spot is only good for. Oh my god!
This is the cheekiest thing. It looks like it's a pad if you're the sniper. This is definitely not a pad. Oh god, that's right in the middle of everything.
Oh, but he's in rotation. He's in rotation. Okay, so I don't know if either Beanie, which is just obviously not looking at that spot, or if there's like a little bit of delay and he was actually zoomed in during that time, because that looked really bad. The problem is we still have to do another mission. We're probably going to have to bug. We probably don't have enough time for fingerprint.
10 seconds. It's got to be the bug. It's the only chance here. 5 seconds. No, come back. Ambassador, no.
Or we're depressed.
Try to get the purloin off, but there's no time. He does actually get the test off, but it only actually counts once the drink gets taken, and there just was no time. There just was no time.
Yeah, that's a bit of a bummer. I mean, so obviously, did we go for another? Did you go for another fingerprint in there, or we just didn't really find anything that we had? We missed it. Yeah. But yeah, so unfortunate, but does leave us with a nice tie coming out of there. I guess this is also Legorve famously hates gallery, and this is the kind of stuff that happens because of it.
So that's 1-1, all tied up, heading out of the first venue and into Modern, where Beanie is going to take the first crack at the spy side of things in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And so, are we going to go straight for a book here? Okay, so, we're spy controlled, or sorry, AI controlled. So I can't read into this at all.
So yes and no.
Right, exactly. So objectively, we have this book, but we did not intend for it. So this is not part of the plan, at least.
Into conversation we go with the seduction target to get back on script. It's 51% off of an early close screen flirt, as spies do tend to try to do at the start of games.
Really, really nice conversation in the front, too. Surprisingly, for a game like this, the BB would not be that bad, except for the SDAs are only one of them is in right now.
And it's with us.
Yeah, and it's with us. Oh, okay.
Oh,
we could walk away
this
with
is just very tempting, but Legorve is on top of this.
Yeah, we had the option of potentially going back to red book and then using that as an opportunity to bug, but Legorve probably could have rotated just slightly to get around Taft to see the arm. So good restraint there, and this book is just going right back where it came from.
I think Legorve didn't need to rotate anymore. I think they were on top of things.
So
but
okay.
Yeah. Red Book goes right back where it came from. We're just under 3 minutes, and all we have is this one flirt so far.
Yeah, and we're going to kind of hope that ST is going to join this conversation, and it looks like they are. So if we go right here, and nice, good anticipation right there for Beanie. Saw where Jackson was going and got in there. Might look like we are flirting with Pencil Stash. I think Disney was there before, but not going to be too bad, and looks like we're going to be slipping in for a contact.
Hell yeah, Jedi Mind Trick gets us up to 85% on the flirt. There's the contact coming off as well. That's four lowlights and 2 highlights for real. That's terrifying.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was sure if Disney was going to get a highlight or not, because Disney would be one of the least likely, because their conversation was so poor. Would be taking kind of a risk if they BB'd in there, because it was an ambassador and them. So if all the rest of the DAs were out, they're the only person with real. So there's a bit of a delay there, but it looks like they get highlight in the end. So unfortunately, before we have done anything of real consequence, we actually have a pretty decent threat highlight on us.
Yeah, not good. Into statues we go to pick up 1 inspect and put it down after a single cycle. Man, and the timer, too, is really ticking down. 1:30 left to play. This should get the flirt done, but that's 2 missions done out of 4 and not a ton of time to work with.
and a lot of cross threat on this because it really looks like we've been flirting with Disney. We've gone, I think this might be the third talk next to Disney, but at least two. We could have two flirted Disney at this point. There's a lot lining up right now to say that it's Beanie, and we haven't even done the main thing we have to do, which is really unfortunate too, because
oh my God, Legorve just takes a shot.
Okay,
I did not see that coming.
Absolutely. So let's rewind here and see if there's something crazy happened. Okay, so what was Irish doing this game? Just realized this and just realized now. Oh, that because that's been cooking there for forever. Yeah. So that was actually like it was a super long cook on that statue, but it was not that statue. And Legorve takes strong behavioral shot. That's what happens.
Sad. Oh boy.
All right. Well, Beanie gets bailed out, like straight up. Like Beanie was not doing all that well that game. Like probably something kind of ugly like an inspect swap, unfortunately. I mean, we could have inspected and maybe gone for a purloin or something, but with 1 minute left, it's really hard to set up that last hardtail that they needed. So Beanie breathing a sigh of relief there.
Absolutely. And now they're a game ahead going into the sniper side of Modern against Legorve's sniper in 3. They're not both on sniper. I need to stop saying this. Beanie on sniper, Legorve on spy in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And this has got to feel pretty good for Beanie here because theoretically, if Beanie holds on sniper the rest of the set, he wins. And so
this book is actually intentional. Absolute shenaniganry. That's completely busted. Beanie on top of things. That was, I loved that game very much. That was very enjoyable. But it does put Legorve Genine down 2 going into the next one.
Yeah, a bit of a bummer that Ambassador happened to be kind of near us and protected during that because we were red dress. And so we already were going to blend in with our red bookcase. So grabbing something like sometimes you do this orange dress or red dress or boots in that kind of color range, you can just grab a book and then hopefully just be at the other bookcase and then do a normal return, obviously. It really relies on Ambassador doing something because it's very rare for there to be a rush purloin on Modern. So it's basically relying on the chaos of time adds and bug, pretty much. You're probably not going to see a swap. And Ambassador settles super fast. Ambassador settles basically as fast as Ambassador could possibly settle, and not a ton of people were threatening. Basically, Irish was the only threat. And after Beanie settles that, notices that red has been at the other book safe.
The Ambassador giveth and the Ambassador taketh away. Beanie up by 2, stepping into the spy side of Tayen in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Oh, are we going to see a super aggro Smallman game? It's actually been a while since I've seen Smallman on Tayen, but maybe I'm just not watching enough competitive.
Man, Beanie, like, really the king of AI control, eh?
Yeah, I wonder if it's there is a little bit of counter Yomi to letting the AI pick where you go and then kind of doing whatever game follows logically as part of that. But I don't actually think
that was nice. Got 2 inspects off of a single cycle because of the double green test. That's big.
And also, I think Smallman has pretty quick statue animations too, so that's very impressive because Smallman can get in and out of statue pretty quick like that. But that said, the other spy control game, we grabbed a book and we didn't do anything with it, but it could have just been like one of the things that Chris really didn't want to do. So we're Smallman. We could pick up, it's going to be a little bit of a wrench in here because we're not going to get a 2 flirt. But with Smallman, what you can do is you get your flirt done, you get your contact done, you finish, you have your partial inspects, and then you can go do something like maybe a green swap out of the second inspects and just hide during. You could do something like a purloin. You have a lot of options where you just do a straight cheesy hide. I don't know if Beanie's the type to be willing to do like a full-on, like just cheesy Spallman game rather than just using some of the hide advantage, but I guess we'll see.
I'm a little bit surprised he didn't just go for that bug when the ambassador was back to us in the opposite conversation, but did not. It's simply 34% on the flirt. And setting up here, switching conversations, I'm a little bit curious to see what the plan is for this position in particular. Oh, seduction target drops in to say hi, so that's nice.
Yeah, seduction target. Beanie's actually managed the seduction target spacing pretty well so far.
Fake contact.
Ooh, come on. Stay in conversation, Disney. Okay, good.
That was a really good fake contact.
Yeah, great fake contact, and we'll see if it actually really puts anything on anybody else. We're going to be maybe a little bit more worried about this purloin coming up because the contact, that's about the only thing that was in motion at the time. It wasn't distracting from a swap or anything like that. And so right now, I'm guessing just the front CC's got a little bit more suspicion on them.
Yeah, especially because the back CC didn't have an SDA in it. That was big, actually.
Yeah, and something else important is because we knew we had to do one more flirt and there was a pretty good contact at the time, we really weren't going to be doing anything. So Beanie was just kind of like, I'm burning this time here anyway. This fake is pretty good. Let's just fake. It's a good use of your time, Untayan.
Speaking of flirt, that's that mission done, but 30 seconds to play. We have spent a whole lot of time doing not missions as the master of missions, the Smallman.
And I think we're going to go for a purloin into statues here. We're going to really want the green.
This is so risky, but he does hit the green on the purloin.
We got to go into statues.
Seconds.
Oh, we don't have time. We don't have time. We have to time ad. We have to time ad.
10 seconds now. What's the plan? Purloin gets taken.
It's not going to be 3 seconds. Oh, no, Beanie.
1 second.
No, it's not going to be in time.
Does hit the time ad, but it's white. It's not green. Oh, God.
Oh my God! No, he knows.
He gets caught. Got caught for it. Oh my God, Legorve Genine. That was one of the weirdest Smallman games on Tayan I have seen. Went for what was very clearly a set piece. Like he had that planned, but didn't wind up working out.
Yeah, and Legorve, did you see that purloin at all during that sequence? Gotcha. Okay, so you saw before it went behind the Soji again. Okay, a bit heartbreaking, but Legorve correctly parses the endgame scenario of nobody else could have done this. Where's Smallman? And probably also notice the Smallman left, and it's like there's basically nobody else that could go to the window, be invisible, add time, and come back, find the little guy.
Absolutely. Sometimes it just comes down to find the little guy. As Legorve Genine steps into the spy side, looking to square things up at 3 versus Beanie's sniper in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And we are going to be discount Smallman, and we'll see if we actually do anything with it. We have one of the more interesting Soji layouts. So this layout is really interesting to me just because it's not as I hate all bookcase Soji quite a bit.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, and usually you want one Soji to not be on one side, not only because of the cover on one of either the statues or the microfilm, but also because it gives a second set of blind spot for Toby, which I actually think is more important than
time ads. One's green.
And I don't think we're going to be looking for that at all. We'll see if actually. To be totally honest, I think that is actually one of Beanie's weak spots, is looking for time ads early in the game. So I do think that we're going to get pretty clean from this.
Yeah, I think so too. Legorve Genine wanted some early bookcase shenaniganry in the time of chaos there, but unfortunately spawned with a drink, so wasn't able to get anything out of the green bookcase after all. Winds up at this point, after the pair of time ads, in conversation with the double agent, who bails as soon as I start talking about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the other thing is, these time ads are kind of exactly what Beanie needed last game. Because if Beanie was going for that kind of late purloin, if there was more time on the clock, Legorve might have been tempted to actually shoot at the end there. But Legorve had the confidence to be able to wait for overtime, and then we're put into an awkward spot of having time here. So we're going to get the benefits of what Beanie was going for. A little bit less cover, though, so we'll still see if this timeout pays off insofar as we're actually able to get a win because we've done nothing so far.
Yeah, we don't even have a flirt to our name. We had an interesting little path around the ambassador while that was very exposed and like the most look at how not bugging I am right now path I have ever seen.
Yeah. So Legorve could go. So we have a lot of time. So one of the options that's we're red testing as we go into this. This is interesting.
Actually takes a quick red flirt before this briefcase grab just to try to spark up a bit of activity. That's a cool little move. Unfortunately, actually going to finish up this briefcase, which was not something that spies usually do, so that wound up being quite nice. So there's a fingerprint, our first piece of progress this game, with 2 minutes and 20 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, and we could be so with the extra time ads. If you're paying attention to who's going to statues, there's a real potential for swap framing, which is what we might be going for because we have so much time to look for these. We just have to make sure that we have them in a conversation with the DA. I mean, we have a wait. It's just going to be.
It's just a bullet. Just bullets happen sometimes in this game. Beanie takes a shot. It's not the correct shot, and we're tied at 3.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Okay, so let's look at Pony this game. So Pony goes in here. Could have had a bug. Okay, that's legit. Actually, had a pretty good shot at a bug, and was the only person on that particular path that would have had a really good shot at a bug, and actually 2 shots at a bug. So Ponytail really had progress going. And did she ever go back to statue? No, I think it was just a little earlier than I would have liked. I understand that there was bug credit, flirt credit, all that kind of good stuff. I think Beanie needed to just have a little bit more patience on that one because I think that we had the chance of her just not doing anything. Ponytail had a good chance of going back to statues in the next 2 minutes, but yeah, unfortunate there. And yeah, we're back to even.
Yeah, absolutely. We are square at 3 going into library any 5 of 8. It's going to be Beanie on the spy side trying to open this game back up again. Legorve on the sniper trying to do the same in 3, 2, 1, playing it. Ooh, what is with all of these early bookcase drops? Beanie keeps just getting shoved there by the AI, so that's a thing.
But one of the worst people to take a book quickly. Texas animation for books is so obnoxiously long. So even though we went there immediately, it's just not going to matter. I don't think we're going to be able to do anything with this book. Okay, we are going to do a noble transfer, AT transfer, so that's good. So that actually is the thing, because we weren't able to take this book out. But we could do that during a nice rotation. Looks like Legorve didn't see it. So good on Beanie, and a great way to start.
White test on it, but more often than not on this venue in particular, it doesn't actually matter what action test you hit on the microfilm. It's just a matter of making sure you're not on camera. Into the statues we go. 1 inspect and back where it came from.
Yeah, 1 inspect on the center statue. So what Beanie's got going on right now, so let's think of the sequencing. So Beanie's got this scattered progress right now for 5 missions, but also importantly, Tex is a pretty good statue blocker. Not one of the very, very best, I believe, but a pretty good statue blocker. So what Beanie has the setup for right now is Beanie probably doesn't have a highlight because Beanie didn't finish inspects, and I don't think Legorve finishes or highlights for simple statue visits. So Beanie's probably not a huge suspect at this point. Could finish up microfilm without too much threat on them, and then they have inspect, transfer, microfilm done, get DA, and then not inspect until they inspect swap at the end. And they could do a fairly early inspect swap, which is a lot more effective than the 30-second inspect swap.
Just under 3 minutes now. We've got progress on 3 missions after this 34% flirt. The ambassador got snuggly as well, but so far we have done a valiant effort resisting the temptations of the right click.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we were in the position where Sniper was going to be bearing their attention because both Ambassador and Toby were in the exact same spot. Not too much else was happening on the map that Legorve was too worried about. So honestly, it's more of a missed opportunity to do something elsewhere on the map. because we were definitely not going to bug there.
Absolutely. Very slow start from Beanie. Not the kind of thing you want to see on a 5 of 8 map for sure. Winds up in conversation with the double agent. So we almost have to take some sort of contact right here, right? Just to get back on the clock. It's 2 minutes to play. We don't have a single mission done.
Yeah, but Beanie really doesn't want to yet because Beanie hasn't finished the second part of microfilm. So I think you're right about the clock management. I actually wouldn't mind just seeing a time ad because unfortunately for us, seduction target goes to one of the worst places on the map for us, green bookshelf. We have nothing to do there. It would just suck up more time. We are going to banana bread now that it got a little bit better though.
Yep, it's contact. That's 1 low light, maybe 2, and highlights for real, which is not great.
Yeah, that is actually really unfortunate, and one of the main reasons why Beanie wanted to avoid doing it, because Beanie still has to do this microfilm. Oh, but Seduction Target does give us a little bit of a gift.
Yeah, that's really nice to see. A free, close green flirt brings us up to 85%, and we immediately step away from that into the yellow bookcase, trying to make good on this as quick as possible. Oh dear.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Oh, wait.
Didn't get caught for it. Was just had his eyes elsewhere, which is very easy to do on this venue, but Beanie gets away with book murder in that particular case. So that's 2 missions done. Ready to get the flirt done as well for a third, but with under a minute to play, down at 45 seconds already, we still need 2 inspects and the swap.
Yeah, we're probably going to go for this. It's not super late, but it is pretty late. Legorve is almost certainly going to be watching this. So we'd have to get a little bit lucky about where Legorve is splitting their attention. We need someone to go to another statue.
This is
but
not
I don't think
splitting
it's
attention. This is staring at this statue. Apparently got a slightest glance at it. I didn't see it, but apparently Legorve saw something I didn't. The shot comes off, and that is Legorve out in front.
It might have been enough just that there was another cycle there because maybe Tex got that earlier bug or something like that. And we're just not taking risks and potentially saw more of the microfilm. That was unfortunate because really it was the seduction timing that really took us off the pace of that game, that we felt like we had to take that double agent. And it just put us into a normal game, like a normal game of library where somebody that's been around the map a lot is going to statues late and they've already been to inspects and feels like maybe a little bit of a routine shot with not too much risk of shooting an AI.
Yeah, see, that's the problem with playing very by the book SpyParty, is that the snipers also know by the book SpyParty. They're very well acquainted with it, so it often just doesn't work.
Yeah. But anyways, so I liked the game started off well. So Beanie did not play a bad game. It just got away for us a little bit unlucky with the seduction target. And then we tried to make up for it. Might have been better to do something like honestly, if we got like a green purloin, you get the benefit of splitting their attention between a couple of different spots, but we probably would have lost to that anyway. So I guess we'll just be going on the next game.
Legorve, Genine on the spy, Beanie on the sniper in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
All right, so are we going to go? Nope, we're not going to go for this messy.
I wanted that bug.
Yeah.
I wanted it.
It could have, like, the thing is, if we kept it straight and we didn't bounce at all, probably pretty good. The problem is if you get... Ooh.
It's fine. Everything's fine. We're doing it by the book. Into conversation at the second target we go. It's 51% on the flirt.
Yeah, and this conversation circle is packed. I don't know if we'll be picking up anything from here, but I think we don't want to be the first person to leave from this conversation circle. All right, Boots is going to leave, and Boots also picks up a highlight before the fingerprint, because we would have been obligated at that point to pick that up. So we could just stay here for the second green flirt, unless we're going for a rush. I don't know if that's necessary. Though, then again, last game we just saw one where falling behind in seduction really cost us, so not necessarily bad.
Away goes Legorve. It's a little bit of an interesting back and forth just to try to reset the seduction target, but nope. Seduction target does not approve of the rudeness of Legorve. Genine is just going to slip away before any shenaniganry can be completed. So Legorve is just going to hard chase all the way to the other end of the venue and flirt anyways. It's a white test, so it's only 85%, but that was certainly a statement.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously, getting the conversations done early kind of frees you up a little bit. We would have liked that. Something I do appreciate about that is Beanie was giving up that side of the map at that point because there's really nothing going on over there. And so we used one of the few things you could do on that, which is speed up the flirt timer a little bit. You can kind of just, there's not much else to do in that blind spot, so set the flirt timer up.
I keep seeing bugs that I really, really, really want to happen, and then they don't, and then I'm sad.
You've been casting too much with Opie. The bug obsession, you've always loved bugs, but this fixation on bugs, that's Opie's influence you to get clean from these bugs.
Oh, a cheeky little quick print. Pick up, put down before the sniper rolls around. That's a fingerprint that was completely invisible, and now doesn't matter how obvious your next print is, you only have one, and this is not too well hidden, just walking into green bookcase and grabbing it.
Yeah, so are we gonna do something with it though? Or sorry, not obviously with the fingerprint we just have done. We have 2 minutes. I do trust Legorve to take a timeout if they need to, though, because sometimes when Beanie's fell behind, they haven't taken that timeout that they've needed. Ooh, bunch
nice
of lowlights
coming off. Few lowlights. Wow, Beanie's actually getting a lot of lowlights off of this. That was a really bold reaction because it's not easy to be super confident about people's placements on this venue.
And unfortunately, it's gonna obscure the reject. So
I think we're gonna
get away from this.
He did it! He did the thing! 3 seconds! Yeah, Beanie is just not going to take this shot. A beautiful game coming out of Legorve Genine. And that is a win from the Spy side, bringing him up to 5-3.
Yeah, that is... it's too bad for Beanie that these last venues really have started to get away from him because he started off really strong. But Legorve playing Library much more the way that you need to just take these big risks and get these wins off. So Beanie in a hole here and going to be real tough coming into Veranda.
Sometimes you just have to lean into the shenanigans, and on Library especially, it really, really allows you to do some truly astounding shenaniganeering. And Legorve took full advantage, now up 5-3 and on the sniper side of Veranda. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Okay, we are going to do a quick request here. I think.
Oh, it's a purloin! It's a purloin off the top of the game.
We got to get out of here.
I love this so much. Gulp that thing. There it goes. Drink is gone.
Okay, so Legorve might give proximity highlights if they notice soon, though. Okay, so I don't know if they've noticed yet because they haven't taken, or they could just be considering what's going on. I mean, they haven't reacted. Oh, I mean, I feel like we should have noticed by now, though. There it is. Or there's at least an acknowledgement. Here's the weird thing.
So much.
At this point, it could have looked like a reject from Boots, because we have no drink there. So, I mean, we'll see. I mean, at this point, also because it was a late recognition, Legorve might be worried that someone purloined and bailed. So the whole map might have a little bit of threat put onto them. But it's a great start, and Legorve might be more inclined to shoot from the hip if a BB comes off and gets some of them people in there.
Yeah, it's a huge start. Only 3 lowlights and a big hardtail done. Into conversation with the seduction target, and that's us 49% off a fairly close green flirt. So that is very much in range to get it done in 2.
The bummer, though, is...
the maximum possible flirt to get is 51%.
Right. The unfortunate part is that it's still Veranda, so Veranda has this problem for me of the particular nature of some of the rushes that you do, like swap or purloin, is if you get the purloin done really soon on Veranda, you're playing any 4 of 7 Veranda. any 4 of 7 veranda is still really hard. And so if he keeps his cool, it's not that bad. And Legorve just has to not be tempted into shooting too early. Beanie still has had pacing stuff that he needs to address, and it's still 4 missions. So
That's the two flirt done, though. Also in conversation with the double agent here. 2 minutes left to play, which is not fantastic for sure. But if we're able to get this contact reasonably well.
yeah, let's see who is important to keep in this context. So General, obviously, so General's gonna get knocked out. Unfortunately, that's actually 2 games where some of the top suspects got knocked out by the banana breads.
1, 2,
Unfortunate banana
3,
breads
4,
for
5,
Beanie.
6. Oh god.
Are we gonna pick up the reel?
This is not what you want to see.
Yeah, and we still have 2 more missions. So obviously, if Duke, Smallman, I don't know if Twin was anywhere near that Purloin. I don't think that they're picking out that much. Really has a lot of activity. Maybe they take a shot, but there's only a minute left. It might be veranda problems.
It certainly may well be veranda problems. Into the statues we go as we tick down past the minute mark. It's a swap. It's a green swap as we start picking up some inspects. This is going to be one heck of a finish right out in front. This is a very bold play because you probably just simply die if you don't hit that green test.
Right. And so one of the other things that's with that any 4 of 7 thing I was mentioning before, any 4 of 7 without having to watch Purloin. So you get to watch everything else way more. Unfortunately, Ambassador's in a really safe position, so we might just notice this this swap.
Here's the swap.
You know what I actually love about this?
Done.
Come on, swap now.
There's the swap. Immediately snaps over to take the shot. Legorve Genine not getting caught out on that one. A beautiful shot onto Beanie, and it's 5-3. Sorry, 6-3.
Yeah, I was really hoping that Legorve was going to do a full rotation off to confirm the second visit because the first ones are really just odd aggressive play. But again, not having Purloin to me is like just this problem where Purloin rushes, like there's just so little you can do at the beginning of Veranda, and I hate it. But because he just had nothing to look at the rest of that game. If Ambassador is not threatening, you just get to take all the time in the world to watch swaps and book and just really narrow down on people in the party. So a little bit unfortunate there. I actually wish that Beanie maybe did something during that time when Legorve would have been reacting to the Purloin, but unfortunate. I did like the aggressive swap though. That was one of the few ways in which we were going to pull that game out, but Legorve responds.
And that is 3 match points for Legorve Genine, starting things out on the spy side of Veranda. This is not one he will expect to win, but it is certainly still a chance in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
So yeah, Legorve has a little bit of flexibility here on how to approach this. Again, like we'd seen with the Opie games, if you're on the difficult spy maps but you've got a lead, you're actually kind of in the right mentality to play these maps automatically. So we'll have nice aggressive plays, probably just because we feel like we're ahead, or put a lot of pressure onto the sniper. Great.
Quick little walking flirt off the top of the game from Legorve Genine, and then right back again after a window visit means flirt done very, very quickly.
And we might be looking for this this fingerprint to mature here a bit, but that means we might try to pick up something else in the meantime. Doesn't really look like it. We're kind of just, what are we really looking? What are we hoping for here? Legorve's looking around a lot, but isn't really seeing anything they like. They were looking at the DA, not in a good spot. Toby wasn't really in a place where we'd want to do it. Ambassador wasn't really buggable, although Ambassador just became buggable for a moment there. So I guess we're just going to go inspect.
Yeah. Winds up landing at statues for just doing a little bit of progress while we're waiting for the party to line up for us a little bit better. 1 cycle, 1 inspect. It's all you really need at a time like this. And all the way back around to green bookcase we go.
So we are going to pick up, I think this is still fingerprintable. Yes. But it's difficult, though. So that's great on us to pick up that difficult fingerprint. And we still have a bug opportunity in the way out. I don't think Ambassador's going to be crowded by anybody for a little bit. So we have a natural path right next to Ambassador if we want to take it. We
Does
opted
not
not to.
decide to take it. Yeah, but Legorve Genine has been pretty well on top of these action tests. Hitting that green fingerprint early on in the game is always very nice to see. It gives you some pretty good outs near the end if you start running into some time trouble. Or if you just see a nice little fingerprint available. There's the contact coming off. Pretty dang good contact, too. Not a whole lot of movement. Should let off like 2 low lights. And speaking of prints, mine manages to get a second print off of a drink this time. So that's prints done, flirt done, contact done, 1 inspect in pocket already. This is looking pretty good with the minute and 40 on the clock.
Yeah, we did that. I saw that drink request right before the banana bread. So we spammed a stop and start talk, get some motion going. Then that might have just been trying to call Toby over. I was thinking that we were going to purloin, but actually was the distracting from the print itself, so that we are really hoping that we're not being seen. But more importantly, Legorve is leaning into the fact that he thinks that he's not going to be seen, so he's going to be a little bit more aggressive, and we might just inspect swap.
Very well could. 1 minute and 5 on the clock. Into the statues we go. Here's the first inspect done. Second inspect done. Does he swap? He does swap. It is white. 5 seconds. Does Beanie get a look at this? He's having a go. Does get around in time. Legorve isn't able to act quite cool enough. The shot comes off, and Beanie gets one back. It's 4-6.
That was so close to being just too late.
I was scared he wasn't going to get there in time.
Yeah, because I would have been a bummer because Beanie was timing the rotation just about right to plug the threat. You know what's funny is earlier in the game we did the single inspect, and that is often a throw off snipers because usually spies want to set up both inspects because they want to inspect swap later, especially on a map like Veranda. So most spies do 2 cycles at the first statue because they really, really value having 2 inspects going into this for this exact reason, because the timing of the swap, those marginal seconds matter so much, and it actually ended up burning him. If Legorve hadn't had to do 2 inspects at that statue, Legorve wins that because he's able to swap that much earlier.
Last venue of regulation. Beanie on the spy in ballroom, any 4 of 8. Legorve with 2 games to try to book himself a spot in the finals. First from Sniper against Beanie's spy in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
All right, so we also go into twin here. A lot of twins this round.
Yeah, no kidding.
I actually that tracks. Oh, terrible flirt. Oh, not terrible flirt, just really low percentage flirt. It doesn't really matter because we're not going to get paired with our double agent, so no collateral damage. But not such that little bar. It's just so little, just so unsatisfying with that. There's so little red in that bar,
Certainly not the number you want to see, 21%. But when you're literally on the other end of the conversation, these are the numbers that you wind up with. Also in conversation with Double Agent, though, so we might be able to make something out of that, although there's a little bit of a huddle going around the briefcase right now, so we shall see.
Yeah, we'll see. And actually, to be totally honest, something that has really impressed me so far with Legorve's play is Legorve makes a lot of use out of narrowed parties. And that actually, now that I'm thinking about that, totally makes sense because Legorve has a lot of narrowing techniques and like shooting techniques from being one of the best replay snipers off of dailies and stuff like that. So a lot of, like me, for example, if there's a narrowed party, I benefit, it's useful for me, but I don't have a lot of finishers that I'm really confident about, except for hardtails, and the spies are big cognizant of the same finishers that I am. Legorve is willing to shoot a lot of interesting moments, especially if he's been able to track the party more. So I would actually say that the times in which Beanie has BB'd early have backfired a little bit, and I hope that he doesn't this game, because Legorve has shown a really great ability to close out on a banana bread.
Well, he certainly hasn't done it yet. Stepped away from the double agent there before he did anything silly, but it has been a very, very slow game indeed. Already counting down to a minute and a half, and we still just have that one lowly, unfortunately very small flirt.
And this is I've been in this position a lot of I have like nothing to really show for the time that I've spent, and it really doesn't seem like party's cooperating. And it's really just okay. Can you pull yourself together and figure out a finish from here on out? The problem is, oftentimes I will tunnel vision on flirt until because when I get to 3 missions, I can imagine finishing 3 missions. I can't. My imagination is just cluttered when I'm at 4 missions. So he needs to get that seduction target done really soon. He needs to do something in the intermediate point and to set up the three missions because he's not going to finish.
Gotta hit this green.
Banana bread.
It's a he didn't even take the flirt. That's just a fake contact. He's going all in on a frame here. That's a purloin. Never mind. He just took the list straight up with a fake contact to cover right next to an SDA, mind you. 30 seconds to play.
So Rocker, how suspicious is Rocker in Legorve's mind? I don't know if Rocker rejected, but Rocker was already a highlight, and Rocker was nearby. Marker could have been in the chain. Ooh, we red test Rocker as well.
That's a big play.
It is big. Unfortunately, she doesn't go to statues. If Rocker gone to statues, Rocker actually might have gotten shot. I love that play from Beanie. Beanie's got to go to this. Got to go to Windows. If you're gonna go to Windows, go now. Beanie's going to Windows too late this set.
Yeah,
and
no,
we're just
he's
gonna
not doing it. He just went all in on that frame and didn't hit it, and that is kind of going out with a whimper. Unfortunately, really put it all on the line, but wasn't enough to make Legorve pull that trigger, and that's the match. We have our finals. It is going to be Legorve Genine versus frickin' Opie Rights.
Indeed, and so it is. I am a little bit bummed that we weren't able to see like a really strong finish there. Because again, like if Rocker had done something, that would have been an awesome play, and all would have been forgiven for everything that happened before it. But I don't want that to hide the fact that Beanie's had an awesome tournament. I'm really excited to see where Beanie keeps going from here. They've shown themselves to be a really capable player versus pretty much all echelons of play. So congrats to Beanie on the tournament. But in some instances, even though we sometimes root for the underdogs, when one big favorite goes to the finals, part of you really wants to see the other one go to the finals too. And like you were saying, that could have been, that probably is predicted, maybe the number one predicted pair to go to the finals. Someone probably has stats on that, but this will be a huge showdown.
Oh yeah, this is going to be an event. I am very much looking forward to it. But that is all for us tonight. This has been SpyParty. If you haven't got the game yet and would like to, you can get it either on Steam or at spyparty.com for $25. But if you get it on the website, you get a Steam key anyways, as well as access to the forums. If you are looking for more competitive SpyParty to watch, there is a 24/7 channel called twitch.tv/24_007. If you're looking to get into some competitive SpyParty, have a look at the Discord. You'll find a lot of very, very nice people who like playing this game competitively. It's a good time. I recommend it.
Indeed, it is super fun, and like just even like surprisingly, I've seen a lot more people show up in the Discord who really just watched competitive SpyParty for a long time before, especially Tobo. Tobo has brought in so many people where every once in a while they'll be like, I recognize that voice from all the 24/7, like people just putting that on for like comfort stuff, and Tobo's all over that channel. So definitely go check that out. Like at any point you just want to get some more SpyParty in there and kind of like figure out the game a bit more. And this is this tournament is the last tournament that would be a large tournament that will not qualify for the Masters Cup. Am I saying that right? SMC is the Masters Cup, Masters Champion something like that. SMC, the huge, massive tournament that I will never forget after this, because it's going to be the one thing that all competitive SpyParty is going to be pointing to in some way. So also really excited about this, because this will be this tournament that's almost passing the torch a little bit over to the next era of competitive SpyParty.
It's going to be absolutely fantastic. But that is going to be us for tonight. Thanks a ton for casting with me, Slappy.
Thanks so much for being around, and hopefully I didn't actually check the hosting that much, but hopefully there wasn't too much bias from Legorve. But Legorve does an excellent job on hosting, so thanks, Legorve. And absolutely. Really excited to see it. I hope that I secretly at least hope that we get Tobo for the finals, because that's the classic. But we'll see how the is it gonna be live? I guess I don't want to put people on the spot. Okay, but yeah. So best of luck, and anyways, thanks for having me.
Me and Track. Fingers crossed. Have a great night, everybody. It's been a blast.